Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, everyone. My name is Miss J, and welcome to the first broadcast of the Viberarian radio show. I'm so excited to see you, and I'm trusting that you can hear me. I'm my own producer and host this evening on this first show, so we're going to learn together. I see several people have already called in, and I'm so excited. I'm broadcasting tonight from Playa del Carmen, Mexico, and I'm here to have a conversation with you all about life that we're living and what we're doing. I personally am having a golden time of my life right now, and I want to hear about what you have going on. So this is going to be a place for us to share and talk and see what's happening on the positive side in our world. I'm going to jump right in real quick and see who's on one of the lines. The caller ending 8004. Hello, this is Miss J. Who am I talking with?
Hey, Miss J, it's Erin.
Hi, Erin. How are you? Welcome tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I want to know, what do you have in your life that is golden right now?
Everything in my life is pretty golden. I'm really in a happy place. This morning I did a really great power yoga class. That was like an hour and a half. It was amazing. Came home, I did some painting because I love to sell my art, and I practiced my piano artist for a little while. So I had a really good day today.
That is so uplifting. Thank you. Where are you calling from?
I'm from Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay. Excellent, excellent. So this is the kind of conversation we're going to have. We want to connect the dots. I want to put light out there. I've still got you on the line, Erin, because you have been the first spark to come out today on the show, and I just want to tell you I appreciate you and I love you. So we're going to see who else is out here. And stay on the line. I might come back to you. Thank you.
Okay, for sure.
Caller ending 4944. I have you on the line. Who am I talking with?
Hello, this is Tanya.
Hello, Tanya. Tanya is the bestie calling from Atlanta, Georgia. What is golden about your life right now, bestie?
I am here. I'm alive. I'm breathing. Life is good.
Life is good. You're breathing and alive. Okay, I can co-sign on that today.
Hey.
Hey, well, thanks for joining. I'm going to see who's next on the line. Hold, please. Caller ending 9368. Welcome to the Viberarian radio show. Who am I talking with?
This is Colina. Hello.
Hi, Colina. Yay, thank you for calling, Kalina. I'm so glad to hear from you all. Kalina Brown is an extraordinary woman that I am blessed to know, and I want you to know that in the future we are going to be featuring some broadcasts with her where she is going to give us some tools on how we can maybe live our lives better and differently. She's going to be part of the elevational conversations that we're here having. Kalina, I'm so excited that you called in today.
I am so excited to be a part of this. I am so proud of you. I love it when people are able to live through their dreams and make them realities. You encourage me.
Well, I know a lot of people that can say that you encourage and have made a positive difference for them. So I'm going to come back to you. Well, what is golden about your life right now, Kalina?
Golden experiences happen every day in my life, and I wake up every morning expecting them.
Oh, that is perfect. Because you receive what you put out there, right? So you said you wake up every morning expecting a golden life. That is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Thank you, Kalina, for sharing. I'm going to come on to see who's the next person on the line. This is caller ending 8900. You're on with Miss J, the Viberarian. Who am I talking with?
This is Gwen Brown calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
Hi, Gwen. Welcome to the show this evening. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. I'm looking forward to
I would love to know. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just said I'm looking forward to your podcast this evening.
Well, thank you. I would love to know, what do you have in your life that is golden right now?
Well, I think my life is golden right now because I have recently retired. After spending, after spending 20 plus years serving youth families and communities, I am finally being able to just kick back and spend my entire days doing whatever it is that I desire to do.
Oh, what a blessing that is. First of all, you made an impact with the first part of your life, and now you're getting to enjoy just yourself and the freedom of what that means. I'm really excited to hear that. You sound very young, so I'm hoping that you are enjoying your time to yourself.
Young in spirit, and I am enjoying my time.
Oh, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. Some of the people that we're going to have on future shows are creators of retreats for people who have time and want to enrich themselves and grow and experience new things. So I'm really excited about that, and I hope that you'll come back for future podcasts. And how did you happen to hear about the show this evening?
Well, I heard about it through a very good friend and a person that I can pick up the phone and spend hours talking with, and that's Kalina Brown.
Oh, yay. Thank you. Kalina is wonderful, isn't she?
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that.
Absolutely.
I have one more caller that I need to check in with. I'm going to clear you off the line here and go on to the next person and see. This is caller ending 5810. You're on the very first episode of the Viberarian radio show. Who am I talking with?
Hi, I was just listening.
Is there something golden in your life right now?
I'm in a space of gratitude most of the time.
That is a beautiful place to be. And that's really where it all starts, right? So they say the attitude of gratitude. Well, I appreciate you listening tonight. If you want to come back on the line, just press the 1 key. And just to give you all a little bit background about myself, my name is Joelle, so my friends call me Miss J. And I am a card-carrying librarian. I have a degree in library science, and I've been a librarian and information worker for most of my adult life. But a few years ago, something arose in me that wanted to do what I did differently. And what I was doing was connecting people with information so that it could become useful for them in what they needed to accomplish. So what I have decided to do is become the Viberarian. And my goal is to help you elevate yourself, to find the place where you're in gratitude, and to look at whatever areas of this world that we're living in that we want to have a conversation about. So I am excited to launch this radio show as part of that initiative, and I want to have a free-flowing conversation with people where we all can call in and you can ask a question just like you do at the library. There's no such thing as a wrong or stupid question, and we can together look at the information out there, share together, and then maybe we'll all learn something in the process of it. So I have plenty of people who I know throughout Atlanta and beyond who know things. I know a lot of smart people, which is great, and I know a lot of giving people who want to bring what their knowledge is to the world. And so I want to use this show as a time and a space and an opportunity for those voices to come to those that would hear it. As a statement of principle, I have to tell you that I believe in the law of governance of myself. And so I need to let you know that I am sitting here with the intention of love and of only being a positive impact to those that hear my voice. And so by saying that, I am putting parameters around the whole of the energy that is going to be created by the conversations that we have. And I wanted you to know that as the audience, because I know the universe already feels my intention, but I wanted to bring it to your consciousness. So I have somebody asking to get on the line. I believe this is Tanya. Did you have something you wanted to say?
I'm having a great time enjoying the conversation. I'm enjoying it so far. So far, so good.
Okay. Well, I'm just learning the interface, so I just saw the little flag, and I wanted to click over. So I believe that we can learn something new every day, and that learning can happen through the conversations of the people we meet, or it can come from actual being in a classroom, or in my case right now, I'm learning a bunch of new skills. I'm learning how to edit videos and sound clips, and I'm learning how to run an on-air radio show. And it's very interesting, and it's a little daunting at times, but what new thing is not at first somewhat challenging? So I believe in being transparent, and I believe that we're all working and learning on doing something. And so this is my example today. So one of the things that's near and dear to my heart as a topic is energy. Energy is so key to our experience of the world around us. I know all of us have had times when we have said, whenever that person comes into this room, they just, I don't know what it is about them. It brings me down, man. I don't know what it is because I don't even know the person very well, but they just have this way about them that I just don't think I would even like them if I got to know them. I've had that thought in my mind before. I've had that feeling of being maybe repulsed by something and not knowing why. Sometimes we say, it's our sixth sense. I just had a funny feeling that they were going to have a pop quiz today, so I studied last night, right? So energy is existing and people are talking about it, but I think that in our present time, it seems to me that there are a lot more conversations about it than there were 10 years ago. And I think that it's in the scientific realm. They're starting to publish things about that energy is measurable and impacting things on a cellular level that we never before realized. But technology has enabled us to sense these changes. I think that the basic premise that energy connects all of us, that is what we feel when we go into a crowd or into a room or around somebody, or even when we feel the weather changing. Some people, they'll say old timers, and I always tell when the weather's going to change. So it's going to be a storm coming because they can feel it in the energy of the atmosphere. Or even at the fall, when the weather starts to change, you can feel or sense a little change in the air that lets you know that the seasons are shifting. So I love the fact that there is so much potential in how we experience energy. And what I love even more is that we can control our experience of energy just by even realizing that we can be in control. I'm hoping that this is making sense to you, because what I know is that once I realize that I could have more control over the energy that was around me, that I didn't just have to fall victim to or prey to outsiders. If somebody came in a room and it was negative, it didn't have to make me feel negative for no reason once I became aware that I didn't have to be influenced by that external factor. So once my perspective changed, I started to be able to apply that same perspective to different areas of the energy around me. So I found for myself to be true that I was being influenced a lot by energy that was external to myself. And I didn't necessarily like that because I found myself maybe being negative or low vibration for no reason when I started examining the roots of my feelings. And I found that it was because I was in, birds of a feather flock together? And I think we've all seen that little cartoon. It has the little turkeys on the ground and the eagle on the ground with the turkeys. And it says, how are you going to fly like an eagle if you surround yourself with turkeys all day? Well, there is a lot to that to be true. So at some point you wake up and say, I can be in control of the energy around me, for one. And even more importantly, I can also be in control first of my own energy before I even look at the external energy around me. So I don't know if you have any particular anecdotes or stories to talk about energy, or when you first came into awareness of energy, or maybe even an energetic situation that you are experiencing. I would welcome you to call in and press 1 if you would like to share, where I think we're all learning from each other. I think one of the most challenging things is when people do not necessarily recognize that they are energetic presences. It's almost like in the cartoon Peanuts, the guy with the little dust cloud that goes around all the time, and all the little kids are like, oh, he's dusty. But he just doesn't realize he's dusty. He walks around and lives his life with the little thing swirling around him all the time. Well, some people don't realize that they are dusty. Other people could tell them, hey, you are negative, honey. Whatever you come around, people just, their energy goes down. But a lot of times people don't know how to have that conversation tactfully, if you know what I mean. But once you become into awareness that you have this negativity maybe about yourself, then you kind of have to accept a level of ownership. Some people do not accept ownership. They'll say, well, I'm just dusty. Inhale my dust. You just have to accept me and my negativity. You just have to accept me and my energy. If it's the energy of anger, if it's the energy of bitterness, you just have to accept me. This is who I am. Love me. Other people decide to say, it might be who I am now, and let's be honest about it, but it's not going to be who I'm going to be. So bear with me while I get the dust off of me. Right? I think that my 30s were a good time period for my life to shift to where the people who wanted to stay dusty were able to be shifted out of my life. Or I shifted them, or situations thankfully came to my rescue and shifted them away. Right? So, when they say the chips are down, you know who your real friends are. Well, time will also let you know who your friends are. And I think as we get older and start to see people for who they are, then we can decide more honestly if we want to continue maintaining those dynamics of energy exchange with them. Be that energy exchange be a deep friendship or a casual friendship or whatever it is we've been doing with those people. And sometimes you can try to let a person know you have a dust cloud around you, have negativity, But sometimes people are not receiving to that, and it's not our goal it's not our job per se, to be correcting others in a way if they're not receiving of it. You know, we're not their therapist, right? But out of friendship, if we bring something to someone's attention in a gentle way and then leave it there or refer them to somewhere where maybe they can have some perspective-changing support work. Maybe that looks like counseling or therapy. Because honestly, sometimes people have a dust cloud on them because they're depressed or they're dealing with a real depression or, a mentally illness or episode or response to life. And they would get better and they would get more positive energetically if they could. So, of course, in those times, it's when you would call or refer or gently help them to somebody who can help them with the longer-term perspective-changing work that needs to happen for them. It's not just a matter of them looking at the bright side of things or looking at the cup half full or empty or your typical garden variety pessimism, which is a lot of what we deal with in the negative everyday sense, is your garden variety pessimism, And in a lot of ways, the garden variety negativity that we all encounter every day, be it gossip, pettiness, negativity, workplace, he say, she say, all that kind of stuff is your garden variety every day negativity and low energy. And a lot of people just kind of dwell on that because it's entertaining on a certain level. We've got a society that's come to a place that finds that kind of thing entertaining. And so some people can dwell on that and it not affect them beyond that. Others, like myself, I try not to. It's hard. It's hard to not be sometimes garden variety negative because I think for myself, there's always a kind of little judgy voice that goes on in the background. I think I've been successful at muting it and maybe pushing it to a balance to where it's not detrimental to myself or others. So I have to work hard because it's easy to get sucked into that kind of negative, bitter banter that's casual that we think is harmless, but it really does have an energetic impact. Those little bitty energetic impacts, I think, add up to be as much as your typical I hate the world and the world hates me personality. So when they talk about, like, the theory of killing with kindness, there's a truth to that. A lot of times we'll see, and I've seen a couple movies that talk about where the grouchy elderly person slowly becomes soft and friendly because of the continued kindness of a young child who brings him cookies every day. Or, the kid he keeps telling scram that keeps coming by and raking his yard, kill him with kindness. And then one day you discover under the crusty exterior is a really loving connection between you and this person. Well, you can do that like in a real sense, one-to-one, and make it purposeful, like decide that your office nemesis is not going to be your nemesis anymore, that you're going to just be kind and not fake kind. You know the kind when you're not really being kind. We all know what we're talking about. I'm talking about genuinely kind and looking at them and treating them with like a compassion and a kindness and putting aside whatever the stressor is in the situation that's happening, or who the person, the individual, doesn't have to be a coworker. It's just a very easy example. But you can also be like a stealth bomb of kindness because you can just wear like a vibration and an attitude of kindness, compassion, positivity, and happiness as your mindset. And when you carry that with you then out into the world, every being that you're passing is going to receive a little bit of your energy. So it's like you're doing good in the hood just by being in your positive, grateful self when you woke up this morning, by setting your intention that you were having a golden day. Kalina automatically affected the people who touched up against her energy throughout the day, and maybe their day wasn't as golden as hers, but it might have been a little brighter for having encountered a piece of her, So I love this testing these theories of things. I read a lot of information, being a librarian, and inquisitive. Some people like to say nosy, but I prefer inquisitive, But I also know from applying things from my own personal experiment, and those are the things that I know to be true for me anyway, and I certainly welcome challenges to anything that I speak about. If there is any information that I am incorrect on, I always am very open to learning more. That's why we're all here. So, Kalina, I see you have something to add at this time. Let me see if I can bring you on. All right, Kalina?
Well, for me, everything comes from a clinical state. So I think it's valid to understand that for the most part, unawareness is what keeps us in an unhealthy, unhappy state. Because if you've lived in that space for so long, you don't know you're dusty, and when someone points it out to you, it's very difficult for you to see it because it has been your reality for so long. And I think that's part of what's very important to me is that we begin to understand that if we were to at least take the time to just question sometimes or wonder, that may begin to help the process of becoming aware.
Okay. So the beginning of wondering, how does that happen?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's realizing. Take, for example, when you talk about people in your world, if there is a genuine relationship and you bring something to that person's attention, the dustiness, and they are resisting, then depending upon the quality of the relationship, even if they're not able to accept it in front of you or accept it openly, if they were just to be able to walk away and just consider maybe somehow there's a possibility that there's some dustiness going on, then I think that we can begin to get some awareness. Awareness has to be developed, I think, before any change could ever happen.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think awareness can be very painful. That's, the cold, what they call the cold, harsh light of reality. Is that what they say at times? I mean, I guess it can look like different things for different people, but I know there have been times in my experiencing of myself and looking at my dust that there's certainly been more painful than others. Some of the conversations of from people who I trust, were not comfortable for me by any means. But I survived.
And I think we all will survive. It's just whether or not we are willing to take the challenge.
Well, and as you said that, I think that the thriving route is to take the challenge. I think a lot of people survive, and they survive at a level of, I'm just who I am. I don't really look at who I am. I just exist. I go to work. I maintain the relationships that are important to me, but I don't seek to know deeper. I don't think about things beyond like a typical kind of a sleep kind of state of being.
You said asleep?
Some people, yes, are asleep.
Okay.
It's like
I agree.
their world, they exist, they survive. You know, they go to their jobs, they have their family, but like the deeper kind of, let me do some work on me and not just exist. The thriving part comes when you accept the challenges of like kind of getting your hands dirty, whatever that means. If it means dusting dust off, if it means like turning over the soil of yourself, like really doing some deep gut work, whatever that looks like for you, that's where you can start to grow and thrive.
I agree.
And I think that sometimes we switch between surviving and thriving mode. You know, like there's sometimes when it's like, you know what, I don't have the wherewithal in me to really kind of work on this area right now. So I'm going to keep myself in this dusty part of me kind of out of rotation until I can really do the energy work that needs to be done. What do you say? It's like if you can't think of something positive, say don't say anything at all, or kind of putting yourself in timeout because, you know, maybe I don't have time right now to have a full-on breakdown and go cry somewhere in a corner, which might be what it takes for me to clear the energy of that particular pain. So I survive. And then at some point, hopefully I'll get an opportunity to go ahead and do the soul-digging deeper work that would be required for me to not just survive with my pain, but to move on beyond that and thrive without that old way of being, so to speak. And I don't think there's anything wrong really with either. I think that every person has a choice, and that we are not to judge whether a person is in the surviving mode or a thriving mode. It's like to be aware of a person maybe is a negative feeling, a dramatic person at this time, and to remove yourself from being in contact with them maybe as frequently is not a judging thing. That I didn't judge you. You know, I just moved myself so that I would be not affected by your energy. And I think that's the compassionate difference. I still have you, Uncle and Annie. Any thoughts about that?
I didn't know if I was still alive or not.
Oh,
well, I definitely hear what you're saying, and I go back to the point for me at least to say that you're talking from a place of awareness where I think a lot of people aren't even aware that they are making an unconscious decision to survive or thrive. I think that if a person is able to do that, then they're on the road to recovery. And the other side of it is for people who are doing it because it's a matter of surviving, but they're not aware of it. And you're not going to be able to move from one space to the other, which for me, thriving is where I consider it to be a healthy place to be. Though if you're not aware that you're living in that, then you're not going to have the opportunity to increase the thriving and decrease just the surviving. If that makes sense.
I think it does. I think that one of the things that we do when we share in the public world is that we give people an opportunity to see possibly what thriving looks like. Like you may think that you're a thriving blade of grass, but then all of a sudden when you see one that's in full bloom with the flower at the top, you might realize then, oh, there's more that I could be. So things like social media, Facebook, even my purpose in doing this show and even asking, why is your life golden right now? That is an opportunity. And I love seeing my friends posting their successes and their life things on Facebook because it gives me an opportunity to see what thriving looks like. It gives me an opportunity to see what celebrating your children and their achievements looks like. It sees me, I get to see what people's job accomplishments that they choose to share look like, you know. And that can be a double-edged sword because we know what it's like when you look outside of yourself and see what other people are doing. That can be, you know, false, give false senses of things. But I think that we all know in genuine terms when we see a person expressing their gratitude and the things that they choose to share that are of a deeply personal nature in the social world to their networks and stuff. And I am very, very grateful for that because it provides a positive energy for me to just relish in. Again, to uplift myself and see what thriving looks like and to identify with that energy. And I think that's where our presence in our friend circle and our presence with the people, the kill them with kindness, surround the negative people with positive things. You know, I've got people who have posted negative things on Facebook that I'll go and try to put something positive all just in the negativity rather than continuing to engage in the negative battle back and forth in argument, try to change the conversation and inject a bit of happy pill into it. You know, I just think that we have so much opportunity to experience life in a way that never before do we have as much opportunity to learn things, to see and observe others, and to experience them for ourselves. And I'm very, very excited to be in this time. You know, I'm very excited to be able to experience all of the benefits of the technology, of knowing people and being to connect with the people that I know in a meaningful way. Life could look very different for me. And so I'm very happy and I'm excited to be here tonight and look forward to coming again as the weeks unfold for conversations just like this. And I think that as we share information about our experiences and the things that we're working on, that we will definitely be having an impact on the energy of each other and on those that are in hearing distance of the show after